All right, good morning. It's Friday, options expiration, October 15th. Glad to see everybody this morning. Who do we got in here so far? Josh Stewart, Big Nate, good morning. 6-8 Spindrift, good morning. Good Friday morning. Sly Dev, happy Friday. Joseph Scott, what's going on? Good morning. Blue says it's Friday. What's up? Noir. Pete, what's going on? Wabistics, happy Friday. So, I sent out some messages yesterday and also this morning about BBIG, and we'll get into that in a second. But this thing has actually we might as well. Matt Johnston, what's going on? Good morning. So I didn't really trade much yesterday. I was at work, and but around. Let me just back this up. I don't think I noticed till about here. It was somewhere around 770. And I remember talking about this option chain earlier in the week and how, it kind of was starting to look like it was getting loaded up, but it had to cross max pain and a bunch of other stuff. And even yesterday morning and the day before, we were just kind of looking like, but it was stuck at that max pain level. At around this point yesterday, I saw that it was so far ahead of max pain, and I went and looked at the option chain again, and BBIG is about an 80 million float. So at that point, I would say anything over 10,000, on the chain should move it. And if we look back here, all the way back to 550, is where it starts becoming, calls outweighing puts. At the 550 mark, you got 4,000, 5,000 at the 6, only 1,000 at 650, but then it's, 16,000, 26, 12. It really starts to get interesting. And all these are in the money and they expire today. So I really think that BBIG has the potential to get some movement here. I mean, if you go through and total up the amount of calls that are in here and the shares behind them, it's quite. I would say almost half the chain, or half the float when you start looking at the total number of open interest here, and that's just for this week. And then you start looking out at further weeks, especially on the monthlies. It's starting to be pretty loaded up. So I grabbed some calls. I don't know what's up with my voice right now. I grabbed some calls on BBIG yesterday. At the time, it was the $14 strike. And it was going for about $5. And that's why I grabbed it. I was trying to get to 13 for $5 and it moved too fast. And I figured it's just one of those things where it's a bet. And if it happens, it happens. But this does have the potential to keep moving today. And if it starts going and crosses 9 and crosses 10, that could potentially give it a push up to 15. And if we get past 15, all of this becomes in play as we get closer to options expiration. And I think it has the potential to maybe move to 24. Now, if you're going to play shares on this, obviously use a stop loss, maybe a looser one. Be willing to risk a little bit on the way down because you might see some big pullbacks on the way up. But, you don't want to become a bag holder and holding shares if this thing reverses and heads all the way back down to 550. That's why I went in with options. my risk is limited to what I bought the options for. If it doesn't happen, I consider it a bet, and just like betting on a football game or anything else. If it doesn't happen, I lose. If it does, it should pay off pretty nice. So that was the play there with BBIG, what I'm looking at. But I think either way, this should provide some great day trade opportunities too throughout the day. There should be a lot of volatility in this stock. Volume right now is currently 3 million. If we look at the daily chart, yesterday hit 100 million. So, volume's been picking up pretty well. It was at 59 million the day before, 74 million prior to that. So it's been seeing a lot of volume, and I just obviously a pretty risky play, but one that I was willing to hold overnight, and I think it's starting to move right now too. Actually, it's starting to move in the wrong direction right now, but we'll just have to see what happens. The other one that I noticed this morning that looks kind of similar is ANY. We talked about this one yesterday. I know Turts has been on ANY and a lot of these mining plays for a while, but this has a 50 million float, 54 million, somewhere around there. And same thing, max pain this morning I checked was around $7. It's options expiration today. Half the float. I would say at this point you only need about 5,000 calls in the money, at each strike to kind of get this thing moving. And you have that starting at the 7, the 8. If it can push past 9, things really start to get interesting in here at 9 and 10. And I think there's enough continuation here to kind of carry this thing to 15. And who knows after that, with volume coming in and everything. So those are two plays that are pretty interesting, being that we're on expiration day and they're already trading well above max pain. They've both been seeing a lot of volume. And why recently 59 million, day before 77, 35, 72. So it's been pretty much trading its float, recently. And this morning for ANY, already at 1 million in volume. So those are the two that I'm going to be watching the most today and probably playing. Let's see here. Junior Wills, what's up? Michael, what's going on? La Clova Nostra. Dennis D, good morning. Blue. Bob C, what's up? Hobbs, good morning. Noah says quite a few stocks just spiked. I'm just looking at the ones that I have up right now. Let me see here. Louis, what's up? Good morning. Joey G said, yesterday was my first time trying day trading. Made out pretty good on DATS and BBIG. Yeah, BBIG was running. DATS, I know, is one. I forget who was playing that. But one of my buddies was sent me a message that he got in on this one too. And yeah, I could see if you happen to catch this right here, that would have been kind of a wild ride. But even some of these other moves here, just crossing above the 9, yeah, some great moves in there. 1185 to 1243. And then again 1126 to 1220. So yeah, that was that thing was moving quite a lot. What's the volume look like there? Already 500,000 in volume this morning on DATS. 12 million float. So that's one you just got to be a little bit cautious with. You know, I think once you start getting close to like a 10 million float or less, 2 million float, things can get really choppy, and as fast as they can move up, they can move back down. But, huge opportunity for some big gains in those small float ones. Scotty, what's up? Good morning. Scotty's in Disneyland right now. Disney World. I always make that mistake. But hopefully Scotty can figure out a way to get on with us still, because it's Friday. No, or asked if I've been yelling. Well, the Giants game. So I stayed up late last night. I didn't know if I was going to make it on this morning. I don't know if anybody caught that game. Wow. Great game, and I mean, any team could have won. It was 1-1. I think that it was 0-0 almost the whole game. Then the Dodgers scored a run. Next inning, Giants come back and Ruff hits a homer, ties it up. Actually, it was the same inning, just in the bottom. Then the Dodgers took the lead, and Giants get a runner on, 2 outs, and that call at the end was just insane. I don't know. I hate to be like a sore loser or, someone who's going to blame it on the umpires or anything like that. But, I mean, there was some questionable strike calls throughout the game, but whatever. That is what it is. That's part of the game. But the way that game ended was just insane. Like, you got a batter in the box. He check swings on a 0-2 count, and they go down to first base to see if he crossed, and the dude just called him out, took the bat right out of his hands. And regardless, I think even if that's a 50-50 call for you at umpire in a big game like that, an elimination game, if you're not even certain, you don't make that call. You don't end the game like that. Then they show the replay, and there's no way in hell he crossed the plate. It's just a terrible way to end a series, end a season. You got to let the guy keep swinging. That was pretty disappointing. Andy, damn, I did lose my voice. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that'll be a little better. I don't know. Andy Smith, what's up? Good morning. Yeah, well, then they had the that's another point too, Pete. So I was watching the Buccaneers at my house. I had 2 TVs up, and I was watching the Bucs and the Eagles. And I mean that game looked like the Buccaneers were going to run away with it. It was like, I think 21-7, and at the time they popped up a stat that Leonard Fournette had more yards than the entire Eagles offense. And then I went next door to my neighbor's house to finish watching the Giants game. And so I didn't watch any more of the Buccaneers game. And next thing I know, I looked, and it was, 28-22, which is crazy because, we were talking on I was talking with Ghost and Al and L Train and some of these other guys on our group text, and like just talking about how the spread on that game looked too good to be true. I think it was Buccaneers -6.5, and it was like there's a when a spread looks too easy like that, you kind of want to lay off of it. And I mean, I didn't take it, but sure enough, where the Buccaneers looked like they were running away with that game, the Eagles come back, and put it right within. The Bucks didn't cover. I think it was 28-22 at the end. So they won by 6 points. If you bet it at 6.5, you lose by half a point. And not only that, the over/under on the game I think was 52. And so if you took the over, the Eagles going for 2 and not getting it really screws you there at the end. And there was really no reason for them to go for 2. In my opinion. I mean, I guess if they hit that 2, if they get the 2, it's 24. No, they'd still be down by 4 points. Field goal wouldn't do nothing. So, yeah, no reason to go for 2 either. So that just seemed a little crazy there. But, yeah, I didn't catch the end of that one. Noir says TMC's moving. Yeah, it is. Huh. What's Max Payne on that one? So Max Payne on TMC's 6 right now. It's trading at 4. Yeah. Okay. I haven't even looked at TMC's Vortex data in quite a while either. I kind of figured that one was getting ready to trade sideways for a while, but that was one that popped. Yeah. Yeah, that was back in early September, about a month ago. And then it just got beat down like crazy. Yeah, nothing really much there either. What's the volume looking like? About 637,000 in volume right now. And if I recall correctly, I think TMC's float, yeah, it's about 100 million float. So, but it's moving right now. Might have to add that one to the list too. All right. So the other one, damn, so BBIG starting to come back down. The other one that popped up on my scanner this morning was SNOA. This one popped up this morning. Really small float on this one though. I think it's like 2 million. So that's one of the ones you want to kind of be cautious with. But it looks like they got approval on it. It's a pharmaceutical company. You got approval on some drug. Australian extended claims approval. So popped up already from $5.90 into the $8 range. And that should be one that could be pretty explosive today. But trade with caution, 2 million float. So kind of what I was just saying about even with DATS, and DATS has a 12 million float, but these low float ones, extremely low float stocks, I mean, you can get rug pulled and have that thing start falling back to 5 easy. So to be honest with you, shit, I might even just throw TMC up here. Yeah, I'd rather trade something with 100 million float than 2 million, just to be on the safe side. Sir Lucky Charms, what's up? Big Nate says SBTX with a buy rating of 52. I don't see that on mine yet. Yeah, hasn't popped up on my news feed yet. But even yesterday, was it yesterday with OPAD or the day before? But either way, my news was a little delayed. So, but shit, trading at $10, if it has a $52 buy rating, I would imagine that one will start flying as people start to see that news. So Dennis D's asking about the ComputerShare thing. So basically what that is it started with GameStop, and like everything that starts with GameStop, AMC started the AMC kind of squeeze community kind of followed suit. First off, I don't think that CLOV shares are registered with ComputerShare for one. But either way, it's kind of the same thought process. The whole thought process behind it is that with all the failure to delivers and naked shorting and everything that's not showing up like on Ortex data and all that, basically if you direct register your shares, so ComputerShare is the registering agent for GameStop. And so what a lot of these shareholders have been doing is, let's say I have my shares through TD Ameritrade, or I have my shares through Fidelity or Schwab, wherever it may be, transfer their shares to ComputerShare. And basically, now they're registered there and they can't be lent out. It takes away the lending abilities of those shares from the original broker, like your Fidelity or whoever. And so it really starts to put pressure, on a lot of these brokers and market makers and everybody else, because it's starting to really take away their loaning capabilities, right? Because as we've been seeing, if you go on like the Super Strong subreddit, ton of people, like just transferring their shares over. And now people have been posting that Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, a lot of these other people are saying, sorry, we don't have your shares to transfer, which is crazy, right? So like imagine you own 1,000 shares of GameStop right now, and you notify your TD Ameritrade and say, hey, I want you to transfer my 1,000 shares to ComputerShare. I want them to hold my shares now. And they email you back and say, sorry, we don't have your shares. Well, I mean, that's even more proof of the naked shorting that's going on, and how there's these like fictitious shares floating around. And to me, at least, that proves kind of all the thesis and the theories that we've been reading about this stuff with GameStop specifically, because now it's like these shares don't exist. So in the way that happens, I know I'm kind of summarizing this, but the way that happens again is through naked shorting. So if let's just say there's a float of 100 million shares out there, okay, and everybody has their shares in their individual broker accounts and everything. And then, a market maker takes on, like we've been talking about, like in the dark pool, let's say $20 million or 20 million shares worth of buy orders through the dark pool for shares that they don't own, and they're selling shares they don't own. Well, now there's 120 million shares floating around, and we all buy up those 20 million shares on the market. So now there's 120 million shares floating around out there on the market, but really there's only 100 million true shares in existence. But I'm buying up those fake ones. Okay, and now a month goes by, and more naked shorting happens. And more retail keeps buying up these fake shares. We don't know the difference. We're just going in and hitting the buy button through our broker. So now maybe there's 150 million shares floating around. And this continues on since January. Who knows how many fake shares are floating around? Well, what all these people in the GameStop community are doing is starting to take their shares over to ComputerShare and register them there because they can't be lent out. And now in the way ComputerShare, they're like, because they're the direct agent, that's like the one way that you could track if the shares are real or not, right? Because they have the actual paper behind it. They have the paper certificates for each shares, and they can give you paper certificates for your shares as well if you request it. So what's happening is it's starting to expose the problem that, who knows how many shares are actually floating around out there. And I really think that, who knows, but I think we're going to see some movement coming here shortly, in regards to GameStop because of that. Because it's now the broker's responsibility, right? So if I trade on TD Ameritrade and I try to transfer my 1,000 shares and they don't have them, that's their problem. They need to go get my shares. I paid them however long ago. Let's say 3 months ago, I bought my shares, back in July, and I bought 1,000 shares for whatever price. They need to go get those damn shares. And so now they're going to be going to the clearinghouse and asking for them, or however it works out. And it's gonna cause some big problems. I really do think so. So I think we're gonna, talk about failure to deliver. Someone's gonna have to come up with these, and I think that's where most of them are hidden, is in the FTD. So we should start seeing some movement here. I think, at least, based on that. So to get back to CLOV, I do think that we're probably seeing a similar thing happening with CLOV. I'm not even sure who CLOV's registering agent is. I'm sure you could find that with a quick Google search, but the same thing could be done. I think I even saw a post on the CLOV subreddit like maybe a month ago, shortly after. Well, I guess the GameStop's been doing this. The GameStop community of investors has been doing this, I think, for about 2 months now. And I want to say maybe even longer. But I want to say that I saw a post on the CLOV subreddit going back maybe a month ago or so, where they actually said like who you would register through for for CLOV. And I mean, that could work. The one thing that I've always been skeptical of, though, is, okay, so let's say you go register your shares through a ComputerShare or whatever. Because it's not on a trading platform through a broker, what happens if today GameStop squeezes up to like $500, $1,000, who knows, right? Whatever price, and you want to sell, because it's not on a platform, and maybe it is, I don't know. How fast can I sell my shares, right? Like if I want to sell them now, I don't think I have that availability through a ComputerShare or something. So that's like a long-term hold type thing when you bring them over there. Blue, yeah. No, it was a great game, Blue. It really was. Disappointing to see the season end that way, but that would have went either way. I mean, you're talking about the two best records in the game. Um, you know, uh, Giants still had a better record, but either way, I mean, both teams, I think, had amazing seasons. And yes, there was a question, very not even questionable call, it was a bullshit call. Even as a Dodger fan, you can't disagree with that. He didn't even cross the plate. I mean, they showed the replay. I'm surprised they showed the replay considering how controversial it was. But yeah, just a terrible way to end a game, end a series, end a season, all the way around. But the Dodgers had an amazing season, and as much as I hate the Dodgers, it's hard to take that from them. Kamal, what's up? Good morning. Wesley, yes, a lot of talk about a squeeze with BBIG. Um, I don't even have it up right now. I'm tripping. There we go. Yeah, the option chain for BBIG is absolutely loaded. It's trading above max pain. In my opinion, I think this thing has the ability to at least. My option chain won't load up right now. What the hell? There we go. At least, where we're at right now, especially if we cross above 850, which I think we're heading back north at the moment. Kind of get above 850. I think that's enough to maybe push us to 9, and then that's where these these things get interesting, right? Then 9 might have enough to push us to 10, and then all these start becoming, we're on options expiration day, so like there's still 16% left in the delta here, 24% here, 40% here. That every minute that ticks by today, these shares need to be hedged, and that's 1.6 million, 2.6 million, 1.2 million. This is absolutely, this is the gamma squeeze setup. This is like what I was talking about with ATER last week, how it had the potential for this, but it got pinned to max pain. Well, BBIG didn't. Max pain, I think yesterday was down here. You could see that calls start out weighing puts right here at 550, and it's well above that. Don't get me wrong. There's still a possibility it can get pinned down there today, and that's why I say trade this with caution, right? But I would say the odds are more in favor at this point, being this far ahead of max pain, that we're going to see this hedging start moving us down the chain. So yeah, I jumped in on BBIG yesterday. I put it out on the Discord right when I did. And I ended up buying some kind of lotto ticket type plays. I bought the $14 strike for $5. I figure at that much, and the only reason why did I go? I had a friend ask me why the $14 strike, and simple. It was the first one that was trading for $5. To me, it's like if this thing runs and it gamma squeezes, we're going to see it go to 24. So who cares if you're in at the 14 strike or the 15 strike? I was trying to get to 13 at the time. It was at $5. And as I was putting in the order, it jumped up to 7. And so I just went down and grabbed the 14, while it was moving. So, that's just one of those things where, like, for me, IV's already extremely high on this one. So, I don't want to be in here, way overpaying. So I just grabbed one of the cheapest calls I could, knowing that if it heads in the other direction, okay, I lost that $5. If not, and it takes off and it blows out the chain, that $14 call is going to be worth at least $1,000. I mean, you look at the risk reward on that, and I would say that's worth it. And I would rather do that than buy shares. And the reason I say that is, again, max pain somewhere around $6, $5.50 today. If this goes south and starts going in the other direction, that's a lot to lose. You go in there and buy 100 shares, you're putting $823 up, and they slam it down to even to 7 to close the day. You're out $123. So I'd rather, from a risk standpoint, I'm willing to risk $5. And you can buy multiples at that point, right? Like you buy 20 of them. That's what, $100. So for $100, you get the price action of 2,000 shares if it does move. So that was my play, at least. And the other one that I'm actually looking at, and I know I said this already, very similar setup, is ANY. I did the same thing there. Well, I didn't do the same thing. I'm noticing the same thing there. And I'm probably going to grab a couple for ANY. I don't think it's going to open up at $5 at the $10 strike, but I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Whatever's sitting pretty cheap this morning right here, I'm just going to grab a couple because it has a very similar setup and it's starting to move. So ANY, $7 max pain right now, half the float. I think the float's about 54 million. It's already got some options deep in the money. And as we look at this, hold on a second. Yeah. Because this thing's gapping up even more this morning. It ended yesterday at 790 right there. It's already at 830. I really think this has the potential too, and these numbers are way more significant for ANY because the float is even less. So I think that one's got a lot of potential to move this morning as well. So I'm going to be jumping into that with kind of like a lotto ticket mentality this morning as well. I think it's got very similar setup right now, and a really loaded chain. That again, we're on options expiration and it's trading past max pain. So I'll probably go in somewhere around here, and if it happens, it happens. Al, what's up? What's up? Shrimply, good morning. Yeah, Bitcoin is rolling right now. And I think that's why, or not even think, that is why you're seeing, like Turks has been talking about, you know, why you see a lot of these mining plays starting to boom. And ANY's one of them, Hut's one of them. I know Gree's one of them. I believe BBIG's one of them too. So yeah, as they're moving up, these ones are moving with it. But BBIG's got this options activity that's helping it roll as well. Noar says, "Are you still looking at OPAD?" The thing with OPAD, was that yesterday? I believe it was. There was a mistake on the price target, right? It was yeah, that was yesterday morning. So a price target came out. I could be wrong on the number, but I think it was like a $45 price target. It got all this action early in the morning. And then while we were streaming, I looked it up and I'm like, holy shit, $45 price target. And then a couple seconds later, it's like, oh, it was a mistake. It was a $12 price target. And I mean, I was looking at it for an opportunity to, maybe day trade or something yesterday, and nothing really came of it. I mean, there wasn't. It went right back down to where it was. Damn, can you imagine though how a stock can move with somebody just hitting the wrong keys on the keyboard or on the number pad? I mean, and who knows? I mean, whoever put that out, maybe they even loaded up on some calls, or you couldn't even do calls in pre-market. But Can you imagine you buy some shares for $8 and then, you figure where the 1-2 is on the number pad, the 4-5's right above it. It's a very easy claim that, oh, that was my mistake. So you throw out that 4-5, let it rise up, sell, and then come back and say, oh, my bad, I hit the wrong numbers. It was supposed to be a $12 price target. I don't know if that's what happened, but that just seems too crazy. What did we have down here? I don't even remember now. I had ANY, CLOV, BBIG, and we were looking at one more. Oh, TMC. All right. Yeah, Ivan, that's what I'm thinking is we're looking at a gamma squeeze for sure today. Not for sure, but that's my thoughts. It's there on the option chain right now. Prague, I've been watching it. I know it just got the $4 upgrade, which to me, I mean, that's 100% gain from where it's at. If we check out Ortex on Prague, I mean, it's been looking nice for 60% short interest, cost to borrow, 95 utilization. That's all the numbers you want to be looking at. However, let's see where we're at here. Max pain's $1.50, okay, and IV on this thing, you can see they're starting to hammer it down as we're heading into options expiration. Not saying that the play is dead, but I really think this is what happens with most of these plays, right? IV's at 200% now, which makes it, increases the incentive to manipulate this thing down. My guess would be you're going to see this thing, just based on what we've been seeing recently, you're going to see this thing maybe give back some more today as they try to pin it down here. I mean, they've been able to kind of slam this thing down for a while now. Where we at? I mean, it was trading at 250 a couple of days ago, 270 earlier this week, and they've been pinning it down. And I would guess that they're going to try to get it down to 150 today. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but it looks like it's kind of holding its base. But I would be shocked if it is able to explode today. Maybe it trades sideways for a couple more days, and we see another big jump next week. Something like that. I mean, even if you look at it from a technical standpoint, which I think is hard to do with any of these heavily manipulated stocks, high short interest stocks, but it's starting to form another little flag here. Maybe next week or something it gets ready to pop again. I don't think the play is done. I just think there's other places that you can roll today at least. To make a quick buck. That being said, though, I mean, shit, it's on my watch list because it's provided some insane trading opportunities early this week, late last week, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. It's always on my watch list. If it starts rolling, I'll be looking to jump in. Michelle, what's up? Good morning. Big Daddy Roro. VN, what's going on? Let me see here 1 second. Yeah, that typo. I mean, it's a good. Who knows? But I mean, yesterday we were like, "How do you get $45 out of $12?" And then you look at the number pad and it's right above it. So I mean, it's a great excuse, right? like, oh no, I wasn't looking, and I thought I typed 12 and sent it, and came out 45. Howard Chan says thoughts on entering CEI. I'm not looking to get into CEI at all, not as a hold. And the reason being, I'm not saying, it's just, I mean, that was a stock that was, pumped, and a lot of these stocks are pumped. I'm not talking shit about it or nothing, but I mean, it just, the numbers don't really support it yet. Cost to borrow, utilization, but I mean, look, you don't really have that short interest there. Um, I know there's some discrepancies about what's going on with that and everything, but I think CEI provides some decent day trading opportunities, but I wouldn't want to jump in and, you know, um, hold. The float is what, 247 million. I know they did some diluting, I think. And then, there's just, things been barcoding like crazy too. Let's see. I mean, it was trading as low as 33 cents, right? So if you jump in for like a long term hold now, who knows? Are you really willing to risk it? Coming all the way down here, because that's a possibility. I would say that's just as possible as it going back up to 5. So it kind of like, again, that's one I'd rather just kind of keep on the watch list and look for if all of a sudden it's got the momentum, during the day, jump in on a momentum trade, grab some shares, ride it up a little bit, have a stop loss set because we've seen the rug pulls on this thing. Um, you know, but yeah, I never played CEI at all except for jumping in. I think one day I got in and made a couple trades on it from what I can recall, but nothing other than that. I've been watching it for sure. I mean, that thing's been moving a lot. But I think IV's kind of through the roof on that one too. I haven't checked in a couple days. Yeah, 454% IV. So you get, when you get up in that range, put that in perspective. Like BBIG right now, I think hit about 300%. And this is where I'm talking about, like the manipulation that we see. You get something like CEI, 454% IV. Look at all these call options that are just, I mean, who knows? And what they want is, I don't think it'll drop below 1 this week. And the reason why is there's 40,000 puts here that are also going to get, that are getting, killed right now too. So they're going to keep this thing right here at max pain. Probably throughout the end of the week at least. Damn, that's crazy. And even next week, 327% IV. So if they gamma squeeze, where's the gamma ramp end? I mean, for me, when you look, I usually like to look where it starts to lay. But even though there's kind of like, a gap here, right? Between what, 13, 14, and 4, 13, 13, 50, and 14. If this thing starts moving, these are the dollar strikes here, 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 here. If it starts moving and all of this becomes in the money and we're getting close, that should be enough to push it past these little areas that aren't. And if that pushes to 15, I would say, kind of see where it's at 16, because it starts to fall off. But you also have FOMO. It does have short interest. You're going to have all these other options back here in the money, not to mention the rest of the chain. right? We'll pull that up on Trady Ticks in a second. So I would say maybe look for it to die out as it approaches 15. But I mean, if we're talking about today ends up being wild and it blows past 15, at that point, I think it blows out the entire thing, which is 24. Because these are some significant numbers that if it can push past them, um, we're gonna start seeing that delta increase to 0.99 every minute that goes by today. You know, so that's my thoughts at least. And then when you look at AMY, it's kind of like that same thing, smaller float. There's significant kind of gap here, but this is a 50 million float, so even these might be enough, you know. Um, and then here's your big gap, right? So this one kind of ends after $15 too. So I would say kind of play with caution after 15, but again, I think that's not even including new volume that might come pouring in this morning. So I think they definitely have the potential to kind of blow the whole thing out, which would send them both upwards of, damn, I just lost my option chain. There we go. Has the potential to send them both upwards of like $20. I think BBIG ends at 24, ANY ends at 23. I should say this though too, like nothing is guaranteed. I'm talking about this, and I feel like everybody knows this, but at the same time, just want to make sure to reiterate it. Like, don't go YOLOing your entire account into one of these because they rarely happen. Okay, but when they do, big explosive movements. So BBIG right now, 1.37 million in gamma exposure. That's relatively high. We'll compare that to some other stocks in a second. But so as we look across the entire chain, at $8, you have 24,000 in total. At $9, 40,000 in total. $10 has 109,000. So crossing 10, you're putting 109,000 calls in the money. That's throughout the entire chain, though. And that's why I say there might be enough, and that's 30,000 there at 11, 22,000. That might be enough to give it this push past this area here that doesn't have the huge open interest. Then you get to the 15,000, or $15, there's 50,000 there, and 80,000 calls at 20. So that's why I mean, if it starts to gain momentum today and push past 9 and 10, there's enough open interest here to really give it a big push. This was kind of crazy yesterday, all these puts. So someone, or I shouldn't say someone bought, there was $4 million in premiums worth of puts traded yesterday at the $24 strike. And one of the other group threads I was on, we were kind of trying to like baffled at first, like why would someone buy $24 worth of puts right now? Or I mean, $4 million worth of puts at the $24 strike, like so deep in the money like that. And then it kind of dawned on me. It was probably, and I don't know why I wasn't thinking this at first, but to me, I think that was probably a bullish play. So I don't think that was necessarily somebody buying $4 million worth of puts. It was someone selling $4 million worth of puts. So if you think about that, if you have the money to put up, if I'm bullish on BBIG, and I think this stock has the potential to gamma squeeze right now, and I go out here to January 22, and I look at the $24 strike, I need to put 20, if I want to sell puts here, I'm going to put $2,400 up, right, as cash secured. But I'm getting a return back of 1735. All right, so as soon as I do it, I'm getting the cash back of 1735. So we do the math here, 2,400 minus 1735. It's basically, I'm really only putting $665 on the table. Okay. Now, it's basically kind of like my, what I'm buying the shares for, the 100 shares, if I get assigned. So that's cheaper than right now. Right now, 100 shares cost you what? $8.36. But if I wanted to own BBIG right now, I could buy, do these puts. And if I get assigned, I'm really getting assigned for a net cost of $6.65. Okay. So I think this was a bullish play. I really do. I think that this was somebody who is banking on the squeeze happening. Now, if the gamma squeeze takes off and all of a sudden this thing starts ripping up and it gets to 24, I don't think this person's planning on holding these contracts, to January. They could turn around and sell these later on today, buy the puts back for $289, and they just profited $1,500 off every contract. So I really think that's probably what was going on there for anyone else that was maybe wondering, that might have noticed all that premium coming out there. It's actually not a bad trade if you have the cash to put up for it. Josh, I don't know anything about Sheeb or Sheba. I haven't been playing any of those at all. Let's see here. I mean, I in terms of crypto, I usually, especially right now, I've been so busy with work and coaching and everything else. Like, I just with the crypto stuff, I kind of rely on my friends and other people's opinions, and I only own, I think I've said it before, I own XRP and I own some SafeMoon, and I've always owned Bitcoin. For years, I always I use Bitcoin as more of a bank account. Like I just throw money into Bitcoin constantly, and I don't even really look at it. It's just like a long term hold for me. But that's it. And I know there's been so many plays, and I've probably missed out on so many of them with all these other ones, but my focus has been on the stock market, and I'm probably missing out on a lot of big runners and everything else. But I don't even know much about XRP or even SafeMoon for that matter. It's just some friends told me that's what they were going to invest. That's what they were throwing their money in next, and so I grabbed some. I'd like to get your thought on UPH. I don't know much. I don't know anything about it. Damn. Coming down from 10. Yeah, I'm not sure at all. Upheld announces expansion of its product line. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to do more digging, but I mean, if like fundamentally it looks like something, I mean, shit, it's it's at an all time low. It looks like so. The chart looks like it's getting ready to kind of cross over, on the MACD and everything else. So I could see potentially, if it starts gaining momentum, it's got a gap to fill up to 262, but Again, I don't know. Most stocks respect the gap. So, at some point, I would imagine this thing's going to come up here and fill this at least. Let me see. Damn. So, yeah, it fell out of the option chain, too. I don't remember the last time I've seen that where nothing's in the money. Um, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to do some more digging, fundamentally and everything else. But the one thing I'll say, just looking at the chart, MACD starting to curl up. RSI is really low, so it's in a very oversold state, which, it's starting to curl up too. And it does have this gap to fill, so that looks a little promising. But who knows? I mean, if without knowing much about this stock, if it's it can go bankrupt tomorrow and head to zero. Ivan says he's going to be cautious. Put the house on reverse mortgage to YOLO calls. Um, Big Daddy Roro SPCE is from what I heard, like delayed all their flights. I think until like pushed them out a while. Um, and you got to remember too with a lot of these plays. And I like space. I've jumped in and out of space a couple times now. Um, the biggest trade was back, I think, back in December or January. But I know there was some news recently where um, something like they delayed their flights until the fourth quarter of 2022 or something like that. And a lot of these companies don't have they're not profitable right now. I don't know. I haven't looked into space recently, but I know that's why the recent um, decline I think had to do with. But you know, um, I still think long term space is going to be you know a huge space to be in. Or I mean, I really do. I think that's going to be a sector that's going to emerge and start growing, and it already has been. But and I think Virgin Galactic is a great long term stock candidate. But I think it would be again more of a long term. I mean, I don't see Virgin Galactic going anywhere. Like and Virgin Records, Virgin Mobile, Virgin. I mean, that's a company that every time they kind of move into a new sector, they've been profitable and they've been successful. And it just who knows how long until it pays off. So if it's one of those things where you want to own this company 10 years from now, and I mean, I have no clue to put a price target on it or anything, but I would imagine it's going to be like hyper growth type stuff. Then shit, it's probably a great buy. But for a trading, I think and I know this too. It's like they get successful flights, the stock goes flying, and then all of a sudden, you get some bad news, stock goes down. This I think was back in June. Um, when Branson was gonna take off, and then the day after he did, the thing started falling. I mean, these stocks are pretty manipulated too. But I think just recently they announced that they're delaying their flights, which I think it might be more trading sideways for a while. All right. Let me see here. So I gotta sign off early today. I'm gonna take us right up to market open. But it is Friday, and we should have a guest coming on here soon. Um, Give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready. And okay, all right. So let me get this set up real quick. There we go. I think I got it. All right. So, like I said, it's Friday, and I think we gotta. All right, Scotty, what's up?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm kind of tired. I lost my voice. I don't know what the hell happened, but
You were cheering a little too hard last night. That's what happened. And I
yeah,
know it wasn't for Tom Brady either.
yeah, you're on a little bit of a delay. I mean, it's all good. Don't worry about it. But it's like you're. I don't know if it's just for me or what. Maybe it's just from the Wi-Fi in the hotel room or something. But how's Disney World, bro?
Oh, what? It may be. Just give me 1 second and I might be able to correct that by hooking up to my hotspot.
All good, bro.
But how you making out, man? I'm chilling. Look at my Mickey shirt. I'm ready to go, you know.
That's awesome. So, are you? How long you been there all week, right?
Yeah, like since Tuesday. And heading home today, and just very happy to be here, and uh and I'm happy to be with you and all the people up in the chat and here on the show, man. You're doing the good work like you've always done. And one message that I did want to convey today, and that's a message of patience. um if you ever heard of Dr. John?
I don't believe so, but go ahead. Let me know what's up.
John had a song called, so I don't know if this is the proper title, but I was in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah,
thing. You
yeah.
never
No,
heard that
I know
song,
that
Right
song
Place,
for
Wrong Time?
sure.
All right. That's Dr. John, right? Okay. So the thing is this. I feel like, I heard you mention earlier about BBIG, and I remember that ticker being mentioned and talked about. I mean, we have talked about it, some here and there, up and down, blah blah blah. But I remember that being talked about back in, like, I don't know, July, July or August, right?
Yep.
And maybe about like close to, if not over, $10, $10 to $12 at that time. And I know yesterday, right? You big, I don't know, $7 and change to, I don't know, eight, whatever it is now, right?
Yeah, about
The
8:30
thing
or
is,
something. Yeah.
everybody and a lot of people in here, yeah, a lot of people in here are very, everybody's got it. You know what I mean? Just sometimes they're a little too early. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Hmm.
you need that, you gotta dial it in. You know what I mean? It needs to be dialed in a little. Right place, wrong time. Patience too. Patience. You got to jump on at the right time. You know what I mean? Jump in at the right time, jump out at the right time.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, for me, and I know, I always try to say this too, like, and I know but like some of these other plays that I'm looking up, it's like I'm just putting a little tiny amount in. You know what I mean? And it's not. I'm not like you. Because I just want to say that because I know that some people, have the tendency to like, oh, I want to move into this play, and then it doesn't work out, and then shit, now you're screwed. You know what I mean? So it's like you
Right,
gotta,
right, right.
but yeah. So I'm trying to stick and move a little on BBIG and ANY today, but Clove isn't looking too bad. I mean, shit, we've been where we at right now? We've been green for
Like for almost a week, really. I
uh,
mean, little bits here and there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
it's not huge movement. We're still like I keep talking about closing above this 50 SMA, this line here.
mhm.
I think that'll be like the next bullish technical indicator. We're starting to get everything else, but the last couple times that it closed above that number is when we started running, and it keeps popping above it every day and then closing below it, popping above it, closing below it. But I think we're getting there.
I think so too, man. You know, like without getting too over enthusiastic and all that, I really think that you know it. I have a feeling, you know, whether I'm right or wrong, I have a feeling. You know, we all have what a feeling. Anyway, I have a feeling that we're gonna, you know, it's gonna slowly creep, and then just one day soon, man, it's just gonna pop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, not talking gamma squeeze pop or anything like that. I'm talking a nice significant pop. You know what I mean?
Well,
A little bit of a boot.
it's been coiled down for so long though that I think when we do have a pop, I would say, and again, this is just my what do I know? You know what I mean? But I would think that we should get at least past 11 on this. You know, like last time we got this pop from like 880 upwards of 11 in a day. I'm thinking we're gonna go a little bit higher than that at least. You know what I mean? But I don't know if we're gonna, like you said, I don't know if we're gonna gamma squeeze in 2 days and hit 28 in a 2 day span. I think the
Right.
stock's gonna get above 28. You know what I mean? But it might
Right.
take a little bit longer because we may not have the setup.
Patience. Patience. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
man.
No,
So how far of a drive is that to Disney World from where you're at, from Jersey?
oh, I didn't drive this time. This time I flew. But it's when I go with my cousin, which I typically do because he's a big Disney fanatic as well. He will drive and he will beast it, bro. He like from Jersey down to here to Orlando, he will do it in about we average about in between 15 to 17 hours. We made it as quick as 15 once, which was absolutely ridiculous. He just stopped for gas and I think he took like a 20-minute nap on the side of the road somewhere while I slept through Georgia. You
Oh
know?
shit, dude. So you have to fly then.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a drive. You know what I mean? But so yeah, flying is great and it's the way to go. But the thing is, my cousin he likes to drive, so I like to fly. But
Yeah,
when
for
I
me,
come to
I didn't really think about it, but I guess yeah, that the East Coast is a much, you know, much larger landscape on that side. I mean, shit, because for us, you know, I'm in Northern California to drive down to. Well, I guess for you though, that'd be like if you were up in Washington or something and driving all the way down to L.A. But for me to drive down to Southern California, we're talking 6.5 hours. You know,
gonna say 6 to 8 hours, right?
yeah, but
Like
I
if you
guess
want
if you
LA,
were gonna
you
drive
take
the whole
about 8 hours.
coast though, you'd probably be looking at about 14 hours. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've you know, I like we've talked about. I've been out your way. I yeah, uh California's a state, bro. Big state. Take you a while. But hey, listen, I got this weird thing that I've never had before.
What's that?
Um, I don't know. And I'm afraid to show it now. You know what I mean? Because there's like these idiots on Twitter that are being weird and funky. You know, so I
Yeah,
don't want to
that.
get like in trouble. Or
Nah, I
so
don't
I'll
know.
cover the label.
All right.
But it's a whiskey thing, and it's something I've never had, and it's definitely cheap. So it's sure to be not good.
I'm gonna hold on. Let me. I had to get my water ready. All right.
All right,
Let's
so
have a good day today and let's have a great weekend, man.
hey, I got one more backing this up if you have more time. But I hear you're really hurting today. So if you gotta go, you gotta go. But
Yeah,
you
I
know
gotta
we're gonna
help
give
get
this
my.
one a rip. You ready?
Yep. You're on a delay. I can't tell if you started or not. There we go.
Oh, nasty, nasty, very nasty. Oh, very rough, coach. Very rough one.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. So Thank you, Scotty, and I'm glad. Yeah, so I gotta go help get the kids ready and take care of some other stuff. So I'm gonna be signing off early too. So thank you for joining us. I know you're on vacation. I appreciate it. Everybody out there, have a great weekend. And Scotty, I'm gonna let you close us out like every Friday. Say whatever you know. Um,
I know I'm on the delay. I apologize for that. We'll fix that next week. You know that. But here, I'll do one more to say goodbye to everybody. Everybody have a great day, a great weekend, and stay positive, guys. Stay positive. I think a lot of good things are to come, not just for Clove, but for some of these other plays that I know you guys are following. So have a great weekend, Coach, and I'll see all you guys during the week. Have a great weekend. Nasty. Nasty. See you guys later. Have a great weekend.